Hello.
Hello again. Welcome back to our virtual tasting. This has been such a big hit. We're going to keep it rolling, and we love doing it because Chef, it gives us a chance to drink wine twice as much.
Well, we actually think we ought to do it more often. I don't know why we limit this to 1 day a week, but
Is there maybe 5 days a week? Maybe
I don't know. I mean, people drink 5 days a week. Why shouldn't we do a tasting 5 days a week?
That's a good point. And I know the people out there that
I'm
are
not going to
watching
eat
this-
again till next Tuesday. I ate yesterday.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we should do this more often.
We got a couple beauties right here we're gonna talk about today. No different from any other Thursday. This, of course, is your virtual Thursday night tasting, and we will have people here at the restaurant. But for those of you that would rather have the comforts of home, this is a great way to enjoy our wines and listen to Chris banter about his food while you're lounging in your PJs.
It's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
Or shorts. It's hot this week. PJs may be a little stuffy.
Smoking hot.
Yeah.
All right, well, so we're going to start off with a little Pinot Noir from the Russian River Valley.
Thank you.
Many of you are fans of Pinot. I would consider myself someone that is learning to love Pinots, being a big wine guy. Meaning big like is in structure, you know, kind of like the bigger wines. Pinot Noir was never my go-to, but the more I learn about wine, the more I appreciate Pinot Noir. The nuance is the hard work that goes behind it is unbelievable. It's the hardest grape to grow. And so when you end up with this beautiful product at the end, it's really something to be proud of. And I think it's something we're showcasing this particular area, the Russian River Valley, because it's incredibly the excitement in this area, I would say, for Pinot Noir. It's really changed the course of Pinot Noir, in my opinion, for the grape. It's really given us a different look at Pinot Noir. There's a bit more structure to these, a little bit more richness, while still remaining true to the actual varietal. This is not something that you're going to mistake for a cab, but I think cab lovers or Merlot lovers would certainly love to drink this Pinot Noir, even if they say they're not a big Pinot fan. Now, this family, Pernicelli, started in 1927, so they survived a lot of stuff along the way to still have this beautiful vineyard producing delicious, I would consider this almost boutique-y style. They do have some volume, but it's not like going to be like a Kendall Jackson type of volume. It's still going to be a little bit more closer to the boutique-y side, but certainly not a big conglomerate. It's kind of, you feel it's a family feel when you drink this wine. Chef, cheers to another great week.
Cheers. Absolutely.
And let's
Cheers
get
to
our
folks at
noses down in there. That's pretty right off the bat. Tons of aromatics here. And this is why we chose this one, because you get so much flavor and intensity while still being a very light, easygoing red that you can manage during these incredibly warm days that we're having.
Well, you know, it's just really going to be taken back. You know, the color is so soft. It's such a soft wine. And then you get that first sip. And,
Oh yeah, hello.
yeah.
Yes.
And so as you were mentioning earlier, you know, folks who tend to like the bigger structured wines aren't going to have a letdown here. But you are going to have a huge rush of, you're assaulted with a lot of different flavors here and smells and that you don't get from some of the heavy hitters. It's kind of like one thing, you know, that kind of, you know, barrels you over, but the nuance on this is
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And this is the kind of wine that when you sit down and you open this bottle, you're going to notice there's certain changes, or you're going to identify things as you kind of go through that bottle, because you will go through this bottle, I can assure you. It is that good. Very much fruit. I would say, gosh, it is really integrated. I want to say fruit forward because it is New World, but boy, it's really integrated with great structure and spice. Here you have certainly the influence of oak, the toastiness, the vanilla, it's really out of sight. And the pairing here is phenomenal. Chef has a very creative dish for you, and that is?
Well, this is a fun, thank you. This is fun. You know, summertime, we're getting a lot of great stuff in from all of our farms. So what I did is I made a little squash and leek cake. So we've got some Zephyr squash from Minglewood Farm and also some of their summer leeks. Kind of roasted this off, made a little cake, formed it and seared it. It's just delicious. Finished that in the oven. You got a couple of cheeses kind of binding that together. But these aren't really heavy cheeses. It's just enough for some richness, a little bit of egg there. And around it, we've got a beautiful new charcuterie from American Butcher. And this is a pecan lace salami, which is really, really nice. So, of course, American Butcher is in Georgia. So this is their homage to they are the pecan state. I don't know if they refer to themselves to that anymore or not, but it's certainly...
That's where most of our pecans come from.
That's where they come from. And so this is a great tip of the hat to their state pecan, and it's just a great flavor. We were trying this earlier, very mild. The fat content's delicious, so the pecan really comes through. It's not overwhelmed by the spice or the fat. It's really well balanced. It's going to be a great little treat with your squash and leek cake, and we're not going too heavy. You know, it's we were talking about it's hot outside. We're doing some lighter things. So we want our food to complement that, not to overrun it.
Oh yeah, and then this is very much a food wine. We served this at last weekend's chef's table, and right before I was pouring it, a young man explained to me how he doesn't like Pinot Noir. He's a Zen guy, and he's not really going to like the Pinot Noir.
No matter what.
And he spent about 5 minutes telling me how much he hated Pinot Noir.
And then he talked at length about how much he hated Pinot Noir.
Yes, it was.
I don't know what he was getting at.
He was passionate about his hatred for Pinot Noir. Regardless of that, though, we were undaunted, and we proceeded with the chef's table as planned and poured him his Pinot Noir with a beautiful pairing. And
that was with the gnocchi.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, and he was blown away and really enjoyed how this wine opened up with food. It really has a lot of complexity to it, and sometimes you can't see all that complexity without food really drawing it out, and that's why it's so important. Chef and I think it's so important for you guys to understand the food pairings, why we do them. It's because you get the best out of the food, you get the best out of the wine. What could be better than that, right?
I mean, it doesn't get any better, and you know, this is not something, you know, everybody has we have some basic theories on things, and those are absolutely true, but you know, the interplay of so many different flavors of foods and textures, and even just the same grape from a different region or up and down the coast, I mean, it's so important. We joke about it, but it really is hard work, and you do have to taste a lot of wines, and you do have to eat and practice, and you have to do a lot of things, and you know, we think it's a big funny to talk about, oh, we're always drinking and eating food, and haha, it is work though.
Yeah.
And once you get to discovering these things, you understand the interplay, how important it is, and how it can change. The wine can change the food can change the wine, and it just opens up another world if you're geeky like us and you want to explore that. And it's great to see the light bulb go off, and this fella, you know, made sure everybody within a 20-foot radius knew his disdain for this wine, and then 10 minutes later wanted to know where he could buy it.
Yes.
So there you go.
And that's
it's not fun and games.
That's a lot of fun for us to introduce people to things that they think they don't like, and then we kind of, I don't know if we guide them, I guess.
Yeah.
And
That's a great way.
Hey, I had there's a million things, maybe not a million, but there's many things that I thought I didn't like, and over the years I've discovered that, hey, I do like them in certain applications or in certain moments, and we're just trying to open up your palates as much as humanly possible, because we are living in the greatest time ever for the ability to get fine wines, fine liquors, fine beers, fine food. There's really, we have the whole world at our fingertips, even during this bump in the distribution chain. We're still able to get things like no other generation has had. And I say we should all dive in and try as much as we can.
Freezer section will be just fine without us.
That's right.
That is for sure.
Well, Chris and I enjoyed some of that Saturday night. I think I enjoy it even more right now.
I think it's pretty good today too.
Yeah, I think we were pretty beat. You know, it was late at night.
More like medicine at 11 o'clock on Saturday than study.
Well,
this time of day, it's
when we drank,
academic.
when we were tasting it with food for the pairings, and that was certainly work. But then after work, there was some left, and we drank some. But I think it was more of a swigging kind of slugging.
There was a medicinal quality
It was,
to that.
yes, we were trying to kill germs.
Except for that Chateauneuf, of course.
Yeah, the Chateauneuf slug. Yeah, we had some really good wines.
Yeah.
As, we
As always,
Mhm.
chef brings the thunder on the chef's table. 8 wines. It's always a trip around the world. You just can't beat it. Thank you. You
And
just,
if
nothing
y'all-
like in the world.
Yep,
And what a value for 8 researched wines and 8 researched and resourced dishes. Incredible value.
So, we're moving on to Cote du Rhone, and we were just talking about Chateauneuf. Chris and I do like our Southern Rhone wines. As a matter of fact, you probably have a case showing up tomorrow.
So, which means I'll be showing up tomorrow. You will.
It keeps them going.
That was in doubt.
So this is a really cool project here. This is from Avignon, and they've been making great wines in the Southern Rhone for decades. And Kermit Lynch is actually a famous importer. He has actually brought in more great wines into America than people will ever know, as far as introduction to great wines from France. And I think that he kind of, he's been finding wines for years and years and years, and he wanted to, kind of test his luck at blending, which Chris and I both had the honor of doing about 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
We both blended right here at ONS. We made our own chef blends, so I get that. I mean, I get that wanting to do
Both
that.
highly rated, I might add.
That's right. Yeah, gold,
They got
silver.
a lot of bling hanging on those labels.
Yeah, we were really proud of that, and working with Ben was so much fun. We would have never known at that moment in time that later we'd all be working together. That was a really
neat
cool
crossroads in our
Yeah,
life.
but so Mr. Lynch here, he had a hankering to do some blending, so he hooked up with this guy. He imports a lot of his wines, and they did a blend together, and this is the fruits of his labor. Absolutely important for blending in Southern Rhone to get the best out of the grapes. That's why they do it. And the percentages can change every year of what's in it, and they might drop a grape here and there, but it's almost exclusively blended. There's 1 or 2 exceptions, but for the most part, you're looking at blended wines here, and it really isn't anything more than trying to get the best out of the grapes. And boy, you can't get much more bang for the buck than you do out of Cote du Rhone. It is absolutely amazing.
Amen.
It's amazing what you can get there for under $20 every day of the week.
Every day of the week.
This is no exception. This Grenache-based blend, it has some Syrah, Mourvedre, and so it is absolutely wonderful. And I'm going to go ahead and dive
Top
in.
notch, please do. My goodness. I tell you what, Ed's enjoying that. I hope that when they find me, that the last thing I ever had was some cheese and some Cote du Rhone.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll be happy. That's the way to head out.
It is the way to head out, if we get to choose.
So, since you said cheese, that must mean you're going to have some cheese with this wine.
We are, and what a treat we have for you this week. So it's actually a double treat. I guess I should have expanded on that. When I think of France or French-influenced areas, I think of chicken. And we have, obviously the French have given us so much in our world with wine and food and cheese and culture. It goes on and on. But really the French are as famous for roasted chicken as they are for anything in the world, strangely enough.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, on an afternoon, a lazy afternoon, I would rather have some roasted chicken and cheese and wine than just about anything in the world. And I don't know if anything is better or if anything is more quintessential French. So, in the spirit of this Côte de Rhône, we're having some roasted chicken. And so it's a beautiful chicken. I've marinated this for 24 hours, almost in a brine-like environment, roasted it off. So it's super tender. And we put a slice of this beautiful cheese, just got this in. It's from a Beehive. And this is a great creamery in Utah, very, very acclaimed. Lots of awards for their procedures and their products. And we're really thrilled to have this here. It's called Barely Buzzed. Now this is a cheddar style. It's a 100% cow's milk cheddar style cheese, aged at least 8 months. But the real character comes out in the rind. What they do is they take espresso beans and lavender and blend this together and rub it onto these 20-pound wheels. And it ages, this rind ages on these wheels, and obviously it's very pungent right where the rind is on the outside, but with such a long aging process, it really makes its way down to the middle as well. This cheese has so much character, so much fun, we're big homers. I do a lot of North Carolina regional cheeses, but we got to take our hats off to Utah on this. It's just amazing stuff. Trying to get some of their different offerings now, and then when I'm able to procure those, we'll be enjoying them together. But for now, let's enjoy this glorious cheese, and we're going to enjoy it together for this tasting, and also we're going to enjoy it on our tasting boards for the next week or two. And so this is going to be a real treat for us, and like I said, going to try to get some more offerings from them, but just a great quintessential French afternoon pairing with this beautiful Côte de Rhône that you've chosen.
This is one of my favorite cheeses. I discovered it personally. I didn't find them, mind you, but I was introduced to them probably 8 or 10 years ago. I was at Old Mill, and I was trying to really upscale the cheeses, and it was a bit of a rural area. People weren't really warmed up to the idea of fine crafted cheeses, and this was one that really broke through. I think it's one of those things that is crafty, is crafted, but it's not something.
Cheddar.
But it's cheddar. You're right.
And
You're absolutely.
that's
So
the
there's
key.
some comfort there for people that maybe aren't super into cheeses.
It's a great way to look at it.
Great, yeah.
And they have spicy cheeses. They have a Cajun cheese and all these things. So they're not way out there doing, crazy, super ultra crafted stuff. Their accolades come from their craftsmanship.
Correct.
And the quality of their milk. And so we're not trying to do something insane that nobody wants. We want it to complement our food and our wine. And sometimes I think, and we get away from that. We don't. I know I constantly, every day, remind myself, quality first, creativity second. And it's, if you do that first, you can do the fluffy flowers later, but the foundation has to be solid, and that's where something like this really brings it home, because, cheddar is not our enemy. Just because you have, whatever, craft cheddars or, middle of the road Wisconsin cheddars doesn't mean there's not great Wisconsin cheddars. It doesn't mean there's not crafted artisan cheddar. So, we don't need to throw away the things we love and adore in order to have something that's wholesome or more upscale. So important to remember along the way.
Just like wine.
Absolutely.
There's plenty of barefoot and yellowtail out there. That's great. That's fantastic. There's also Barolos and Chateauneufs, and there's also these beautiful Côte de Rhônes, and we kind of keep dipping our toes back into them. Another great thing about this is certainly is dense with flavor. This wine that I'm speaking of.
Yes, very much.
But really, it's not heavy. It's not heavy at all. So again, with the heat of the days that we are having and going to continue to have for another 60 days or so, it's just nice to have a red that's not going to bog you down. And so you can do those things around the yard. You're going to wipe the sweat off your brow and still be able to enjoy this delicious red.
I've got a confession to make. I've never met a hot day that slowed me down.
I was about to say, do I need to turn the video off? Because I don't want any evidence against this guy.
We can always start over. You know, when you're
You know.
down here in the cellar, nice and cool. I mean, we've been in the hot kitchen all day. God, it was miserable in the kitchen today. But, you know, you come down here, you change environments. It's great. Drinking some wine, it was just like, it's like flipping a switch.
Yep. Great attitude adjuster.
Yep.
So we have 2 buttes here. Chef, I can't help but notice we have some beautiful produce here. Do you want to talk about
My
that?
goodness, you see guess what season it is? We've been waiting.
We've been waiting patiently.
Oh, have we been waiting. Now, we don't have the big fellas in yet, but we are getting lots of gorgeous tomatoes, and we're getting lots of varieties of them. We're getting sunbursts, we're getting these chocolates, we're getting Cherokee purples, we're getting the yellows, all sorts of grape and cherry tomatoes in right now. You're going to be seeing tons of this on our menu and our specials and our tastings because it's just, like Chef said, it's been a long wait. And so we're going to inundate everyone who walks in the door with lots of tomatoes because it's just a wonderful time. And what goes better than with tomatoes and cheese?
That's true.
So lots of tomatoes. We're excited about that. We're getting these from multiple farms. We're getting them from Minglewood. We're getting them from Mohill. We're getting them from Roma Ready. We're getting them from Hedge Farms. You name it.
When
Your
it rains,
farm
of course.
will be online soon as well. Our walk-in is such a fun place to be right now. It's just, everything is green and flowing and blooming. It's just a wonderful time of year. I know when I go home tonight, I'm doing nothing but vegetables for my family's dinner.
Nice.
So it's just that we're going to regret it in November if we don't.
Yes,
So
take
it's
advantage
a
of it.
great time to just have tons and tons and tons of fresh, wonderful, local vegetables. So again, freezer section won't miss us.
The aromatics. Awesome.
I mean, it almost
Yeah.
ruined the first wine because when we
Really?
first set this down here, I was smelling the wine. I was like, there's an awful lot of mint in this. I mean, these were literally just cut. And I don't know if y'all follow on social media or not, but I put a little picture out the other day. It was a super close up of the blooms of the mint leaf. And if you want to see the existence of a higher order, look as close as you possibly can to the blooms of a mint leaf, because thousands of these individual, beautiful, intricate flowers just on the tip of an insignificant herb. And it's one of the most beautiful things you'll ever see in your life if you take a few moments out of your busy day and just stare very closely at the intricacy of the flowers on an insignificant herb that we throw away every time it's put on something sweet, and see how incredible our universe is. I highly recommend it.
We do miss a lot in our lives. We tend to, there's these things that we're looking at all the time.
Don't touch me.
And, right, and there's just everything else in the world that distracts us. And taking the time to appreciate the beauty will go a long way for your soul, I believe. And this is the time. We got all the goods coming in right now. Oh, speaking of which, we have family meals. We have market menu. Things are really ramped up in that department as well.
Absolutely. So we got some great stuff happening this week, and we'll continue to have. So we got some glorious brisket going out Thursday night. This is from Brasstown Beef, North Carolina. So I do a 15-hour low heat dry rub on this brisket. We did a catering for some friends of ours, great customers last month, and they happen to be from Texas, so there was no pressure to get this brisket right.
Right.
They've come in 2 or 3 times talking about how great the brisket
Oh yeah,
was.
they were very complimentary. They
I
felt
can
like they
die.
were back in Texas.
I can die happy now. If you make someone from Texas happy with your brisket,
There's a lot of
I
pride
got
down there.
nothing. I got nothing left to prove in this world. So you're gonna have a beautiful 15-hour dry rub brisket. Did a gorgeous cucumber and feta salad. I have cucumbers, again, 3 farms. These are kind of a blend of Hedge and Mohill and Minglewood. And so we got some glorious fresh cucumber salad. Doing some squash and carrot cakes with that brisket as well. And I'm going to make some homemade yeast rolls in the morning to go with that as well.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I know we'll be eating well tomorrow or tonight with that. And also this weekend we've got glorious grouper, snowy grouper coming from the coast of North Carolina. steelhead salmon, North Carolina oysters. They had a lot of trouble with the rain and the wind down the coast, and so we had a little hiccup, but the fishermen are back at it now that the rain and wind has died down and the oysters are being harvested, the fish are coming in. It's a great time to either call us up and get fish to go, raw that I'll cut. If you want me to cook it for you, I'd be happy to. Or just come in and I'll be doing dinner specials with them all weekend as well. So just a bounty from the sea and the land right now, Chef.
Well, there's so many ways that we can help you fill your bellies, and we so appreciate all the support you've given us over the last few months.
Tremendous.
It's been tremendous.
Thank
It's
you.
quite an outpouring of love, and we can't do it without you guys. We appreciate everything you do, so keep us in mind for anything that, think of us if you're going to make a meal about getting your fish from us. We would really appreciate that, because we support direct fishermen, and there's something to be said for supporting these guys that are really, they've struggled since restaurants have struggled.
And there's so many places at the coast that are only doing outside dining. We're kind of in our little bubble here where it's pretty quiet and it's part of the state, but
Lucky.
you'd be
Knock on wood.
surprised how many people, who cares what the governors say? People have been closing because it was the right thing to do in their area. People have been limited to outdoor dining because it was the right thing to do for their staff. And so it's not always about the headline. And we hear stories every day from all of our brothers and sisters in our glorious industry of what they're going through, and it's not a lot of good news out there. So we want to help the people who help us, and we want to support the people who support our families and our business. And this is a great way to do that and have a great time. You just call us up. I'll take care of your food. Chef will pair the perfect wine with it. You can have a great dinner with us. You can have a great dinner on your porch. You can cook it yourself. I'll do it for you. Just a lot of great options. So we appreciate the support, and we appreciate in advance the support coming our way.
That's right. And I was just talking with Tyler, our winemaker. He's working hard, and we had some tasty, some kind of previews of wines that he's finishing up, and that's, for those of you that are looking for North Carolina wines, we've got them. So don't forget about that as well. They make great gifts. We've had a lot of people come in. I guess this time of year, a lot of birthdays. I guess it just seems like
wedding showers and weddings.
Yeah, we've been seeing
a lot of small stuff. Obviously people aren't throwing big batches, but
right.
Life continues, and we should celebrate, and people are still celebrating.
Absolutely, and they're celebrating.
Rightfully so.
Celebrating with Old North State wines, and that makes us very happy. And Tyler's doing a great job with that.
The wines that are coming out of the barrels and the bins right now is best that ever come out of this.
Yeah, things are really ramped up in that department.
He's done an outstanding job. Just really world class.
Yep. And so we appreciate everything. I guess we will catch you next week. Obviously, if you want any of these wines, give us a holler. If you want any of these great foods, you just check our social media. You can call Haley, Becca, or I at any time. If we don't answer, please leave a message. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. And thanks again for all your support.
Thank y'all. Have a great weekend.